The official House of Dragon trailer is out. It is epic. And whoa, us Game of Thrones fans are going to be insane. I think so much has happened in the news that like it was so easy to be distracted and not even pay attention to the House of Dragon trailer. But we are here and we're going to talk about it. Wow. So I made a video when they released the first teaser video with no audio or anything in it. I released a video. I'm going to put the link here so you guys can watch the video because this is about the Dance of Dragons. This is about the Targaryen Civil War. Guys, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, you don't watch if you don't watch Game of Thrones, if you don't watch this stuff, you might not know what I'm talking about, but maybe go watch Game of Thrones, catch up. 8 seasons, go watch it. It's incredible. The best show on television. And now they're going to give us the next best show on television. Now, what are we seeing in the trailer, right? The Dance of Dragons. Now, guys, if you go watch this video, you know, it's this HBO like story with narrators, you know, from the show, and they basically break down what actually happens in the Dance of Dragons. So guys, go watch that video so you can understand the context here. But I'll briefly explain. It's a Targaryen Civil War. Princess Rhaenyra. So in this trailer, we are seeing Princess Rhaenyra. We're seeing Daemon Targaryen. So let me explain this, right? King Viserys Targaryen, he has one daughter, one heir, because I guess his wife could not produce an heir, so he has Princess Rhaenyra, right? He has Princess Rhaenyra. She is the heir. You know, we see in the trailer, we see the young Rhaenyra and we see the old Rhaenyra, so you could get confused. But it's the young Rhaenyra right there that you see. You know, you see everybody swearing fealty to her.
I, Rickon Stark.
I, Corlys Velaryon. I, Ormond Baratheon.
Promise to be faithful
to King Viserys
and to his named heir,
Princess Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra Targaryen.
So if anything happens to her father once he dies, she is the true heir to the Iron Throne. And we see all of them swearing fealty to Princess Rhaenyra as she's a young girl. That's what we're seeing in the trailer.
Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne.
Then it looks like years have now passed. We see the plot twist where he then, King Viserys marries Alicent of Highwater. Now, Alicent of Highwater is who then appears in the trailer. And what does this now mean? It puts a threat on her claim to the throne. Now, Alicent of Highwater has a son. In fact, she has a few sons. She has quite a few sons, right? She has a lot of sons. And so now you have this woman who's the heir to the throne, but now the king has more sons. And back then, you know, these are primitive times, it's not a real story, but it's based on, you know, ancient history in the UK and European history. So they were sexist, you know, they were primitive minded. And so they said the boy must be the heir. So once the king dies, King Viserys dies, Alicent of Highwater and everybody else pretty much try to seize the throne. And that's where the war begins. That's where the war starts. Then you see her, she's actually married to her uncle, Daemon Targaryen. And he seems to be the one that they're really elevating in this story because he's going to be the leader. He's going to be the one, or he's her battle warrior. You know, so her uncle, Prince Daemon Targaryen, is her husband uncle. You know, the Targaryens, they used to marry themselves. They were incest. So she's married to him, and we see him there. He's also there as, you know, when she's younger. Now, in this trailer, we can see, and I was looking at IMDb, and it looks as though Prince, who is the heir that Alicent of Highwater is the mother, her son, who's meant to be the heir, he's only in one episode of this series. Yes, Aegon Targaryen, right? He's only in one episode of this series, of this season. So we know that. What are we expecting in season 1? We're expecting maybe the first 2 episodes is going to be about the young Princess Rhaenyra and her growing up and being, promised, maybe not even the first episode, but I think probably like well into episode 6, we're going to grow up with her and understand that she deserves the throne. Maybe around episode 6, they're going to be sort of like introducing Alicent of Highwater, maybe around episode 4, 5, 6, around then. And I think they're going to solidify their union and get married around episode 7, and potentially then skip all the way to the future, right? All the way to the future, I don't know how many years in the future, 10 plus years in the future. And we're going to see the older Rhaenyra, who has been promised the throne. Her father now dies. No, actually, it was more than 10 years in the future. It's actually like well in the future. I think it was like 20 plus years in the future. Her father's going to die, and now everybody's going to be fighting for the throne. So and that's what the first season is going to be. I think in the second season, the war is going to be in full swing. Second, third, fourth seasons. But they've been very strategic about this. They haven't rushed it. They've given us little increments, but it's kind of obvious whose side we're going to be on in this story. Because unlike you see with Game of Thrones, they kind of introduced us to all the main characters in the first episode. So it's easy for people to take different sides. But I believe in the first few episodes, we're really going to support Princess Rhaenyra. We're going to really support her because we watched her as a child. We'll see her relationship with her father. Are they close? Are they best friends? She's the only heir to the throne. We're going to see that relationship. I believe she's the only daughter even. We're going to see that relationship, support her cause. And then all of a sudden, this, bewitched Alicent of Highwater comes and marries him, has sons. We're going to watch that process of her having sons, and then boom. So I think it's obvious that we're going to be on Princess Rhaenyra and Daemon Targaryen's side. I think even when you watch the video that I was reviewing, you're going to be on her side because she's the true heir. She was promised the throne, right? And everybody sweared fealty to her. So this is all very interesting. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be super exciting. And I think it's fun that we know the story. And I think it's going to be a little bit like Game of Thrones. Like with Game of Thrones, we didn't know how it was going to end. We knew the first few seasons. We knew what was going to happen. So we read the book. A lot of people read the book. So you could easily find out what was going to happen, right? But when it comes to this show, we know the beginning and the end. We know how it's going to end. But it's going to be exciting to see how they interpret it for the screen, how they interpret it, how excited. I mean, George R.R. Martin, fantastic storytelling. I don't expect anything less from this. I think I'm just really curious to see how they depict this story. It's a very rich, very dynamic story, very juicy, very entertaining. And I promise you, I don't know if it's going to be better than Game of Thrones, but when you guys watch the video that I reviewed it, that was juicy. So I'm really curious to see how juicy this is because I don't think they're going to go by the book. I think they're going to add things, remove things, pace it in a way that is suspenseful. The way Game of Thrones was extremely suspenseful in its pacing. I'm excited to see this. And I love that George R.R. Martin is a creator. And I presume he's like one of the lead writers on the show. So unlike what Dave and Dan did with Game of Thrones, there were a lot of people that were not happy with how they depicted Game of Thrones, even well before they went off book. A lot of people were not happy with their depiction of it. It looks like George R.R. Martin is very close to this story, especially because it's not like he doesn't have books based on this, right? He does have a lot of literature based on it, a lot of writings, but he doesn't necessarily have books that they could just go and take away. So he has to be very involved in the creation of the writing process of this. And I'm super excited to see how this is depicted for the screen. It's a juicy story, guys. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenim, and see you next time. A peace.